We see it time and time again. Common mistakes that people make when hiring a dumper. In today's video, we're going to go through a lot of the different mistakes that we see people do on a regular basis so you can get the most out of your plant equipment. In that case, let's just roll the intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Toolbox Tips here at WHC Hire, the place where we want to help you get the absolute most out of your plant hire equipment. And as I've mentioned today in today's video, we want to help you uncover the common mistakes that people make when hiring a dumper. Now with me today we've got one of our Thwaites 1 ton high tip dumpers from our range. But all of the mistakes that we will cover in this video will apply to all the different types of dumper that you'll be able to find on the market. So where do we start? The first common mistake that we see loads of people make is not understanding the dimensions of the machines. So if you're looking to navigate through a small area, maybe a back garden, or it could be you need to navigate underneath any type of obstacles, then making sure that you've got the right size machine so we can navigate through those areas is really important. The last thing you want is your piece of plant equipment turning up on site, ready and raring to go, and it can't actually perform the job you need it to do. So you can get all this information from your plant hire specialist, or you can find it out online through the manufacturers of the machines. The second most common mistake that we see with people who hire a dumper is they don't have the relevant experience to ensure they stay safe and compliant if they're working commercial, or generally being as productive as they can if they're using it for DIY purposes. If you're using a dumper for commercial usages, you need to ensure that you undertake a CPCS training to ensure you stay safe and compliant on a UK building site. If you're hiring a machine like this for a DIY project, when the machine is delivered, generally hire professionals will give you a brief overview of the machine. It's really important that you take your time to understand how the machine works and how you can remain safe and as productive as you need to be to ensure that you get your project done. That nicely brings us on to our next mistake, is actually loading the machine. One of the common mistakes that people make is actually loading the machine on a slope. You need to ensure for your safety that when you're using a dumper, if you're moving materials, debris, or even just earth, that when it's being loaded, that it's loaded on flat ground to ensure that the machine doesn't move when excess weight has been put into it. The last thing that you want is for a machine like this to be on a slope being loaded and the handbrake to fail, causing potential fatalities on a building site or even at your home where you're using it for your DIY project. So it's really important to make sure that the machine is laid on a flat, steady ground when it's being loaded. Our next really common mistake that we see people make, and it is just one of those where you just think why, but it happens, okay? Loading the machine with concrete and not cleaning it. Time and time again, we will have machines that will come back and they'll be covered in concrete because they haven't been cleaned as soon as they've been filled. Now, it's okay to fill the machine with concrete so you can fill in your footings and make things as productive as possible, but it's really important that as soon as you're finished to ensure that it's cleaned down properly so that you don't get charged a cleaning or damage cost to the machine, and you continue to keep the machine in perfect good working order. Providing you do that, the machines are all set to go. Another really common mistake that we see people make is hiring old plant equipment. Now it can seem really attractive, get your job done really cheaply, but the reality of the situation is to understand the actual plant hire industry. Now machines like this one or bigger ones go through a hell of a lot more stress and a hell of a lot more time on the road compared to a machine that you would use, that you would buy. So old equipment generally is less fuel efficient, more chances of breakdown, and overall costing you more and more money. Be picky about where you get your plant hire equipment. At the end of the day, it's your guys' money. You need to make sure that you're making profit, it's going to work, and you can be as productive as possible. Or alternatively, if you're using it for a DIY project, you can get it done simple, easily, and safely in the long run. If you're really unsure, always speak to a plant hire professional, and always go and check the equipment before you even spend a penny. Most plant hire companies will invite people to come and check out the equipment before they even commit to hiring it. Which now leads me on to being specific about what you hire. Now, if you need a piece of machinery that has a certain feature, for example, this machine has a high tip option, which is ideal for unloading into skips. So if you've got any material debris that you need to put in a skip, this will be able to reach up and over the side of a skip so you can unload it easily. Another really common type of dumper that you'll see on the market is a swivel tip dumper. Now, these type of dumpers allow you to rotate the bucket through 180 degrees and allow you to offload either left, right, or even straight on wherever you need your actual load to go. Now, if you need these type of specific features on your dumper, make sure that you get them, because the last thing that you want is if you're preparing to be able to use that type of machinery and something else turns up, it's only going to have an added cost and pressure on yourselves. So be really specific with your hire professional and get the absolute most out of your equipment. That brings us on to our last mistake, which is actually a common overview of all pretty much of what we've covered in today's video, is about being prepared. Preparation is absolutely key when it comes to hiring any type of machinery. It's important if you've got a project that you're aiming to actually complete, and you've got a time and a date to get your machinery booked in really quickly. It's very, very common, and I'll be honest, it happens quite a lot in the hire industry where people will call up expecting large machinery to be in a certain position, in a certain place the next day, and 90% of the time it can be catered for. But you don't want to be caught out with that 10% when there's no machinery available, puts added pressure on you, on your project, and end up costing you money. So remember, preparation is absolutely key when it comes to hiring plant and equipment. Which brings us to the end of the video. Thank you ever so much for joining us, guys. Now, whether you're brand new to plant hire or if you're really experienced, we want to reach more of you to ensure that you get the most out of your machinery. Hopefully, this video will avoid you making any common mistakes when it comes to hiring a dumper. If you like the video, please give it a massive thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe to our channel to get more and more out of your plant and tool hire equipment, then please hit the subscribe button below and a notification bell so you get notified every single time that we upload. We will be back next week for another episode of Toolbox Tips. But until then, guys, take care and bye-bye for now.